In the preparation of powder formulations, there are certain general instructions which has to be followed. So let's talk about those. The first one is, as the powder formulation or the powder preparation involves weighing of the ingredients, then followed by mixing of the ingredients, then dividing those ingredients into appropriate doses, and then packing. Or in some cases, the process may be even more. If the drug is crystalline in nature, it has to be milled first and then sieved first, then weighed into required quantities, then mixed, then divided into appropriate doses and packed. So there are different steps involved based on the type of drug which has to be formulated into a powder formulation. So in involving all these steps, there is every chance, there is every scope for practical loss of the materials during this process. So there is a chance of loss of the materials during this every step, or there is a loss of contents during any one of these steps. So that's why, to avoid the issue of appropriate quantity or to avoid the issue of getting appropriate doses, generally an extra dose powder has to be taken in formulating the powder formulation. The first general instruction which has to be kept in mind, or which has to be considered, is taking an extra dose. So this means the extra dose has to be weighed and formulated as a powder formulation, because this extra dose which is taken may be lost in the form of all these steps. So if I want to dispense 6 doses, let us formulate and prepare for 7 doses. The loss during, or the practical loss during these steps, can be removed away from that extra dose and we can get a complete 6 doses. So that's what is the important instruction or important aspect which a pharmacist or a formulator has to consider in dispensing the, or in preparing the powder formulations. And second one is, if the weight of the component, or if the weight of the component is the fraction of the weights, that is, if it is the weight of the component which has to be weighed is a very small quantity, or if it is a fraction of the weights, in that situations it's not possible to weigh in all balances the fraction of the weights. So in that situation, the sufficient quantity of the powder has to be taken and weighed, which is further divided into appropriate doses. So if the weight of the powder is very less, or if it is the fraction of the weight, in that situation sufficient quantity of powder has to be weighed. So if a fraction of the dose or the fraction of the weight has to be taken for any material, in that case that material has to be weighed in a sufficient quantity powder, so that we will not get any issue of taking the amounts required for formulating as a powder formulation.